Hello everyone, welcome on this video. I am Samuel Blin, I am sales engineer, I work for Digital.ai. In this video I would like to show you how to configure these new features that we call the GitHub version control in Digital.ai release. So this feature enables you to directly from release, from the user interface, create new version of your entities, template, configuration, and so on. Directly save these entities in YAML format in a Git repository. Okay, so we already know how to do this using the CLI, but now we have this functionality directly inside release, and we have more. I will show you. So first of all, this functionality is available only in version 10.2.4 at least. It's still in tech preview. All right. So by default, this functionality is not enabled. So you have to first enable this functionality. You go to settings, then in features, and you have to check the folder version control checkbox here. When you have done this, it is available. So let's go to design. I'm going to create a new folder, demo version control. Now we have this version control option on the left. If I click on it, we enter this version control that is not yet configured. So the next step is to configure the version control. We need two things. Obviously a Git repository and to define a connection to this Git repository. I already defined a Git repository, demo version control. It is empty. It is a private repository. So let's come back on release and we create a connection. So I'm going to define a new configuration at the folder level. You can use a global definition if you want, it's up to you. I choose Git repository. So my repo, the URL is the one to GitHub. My username and the password is a personal access token that you define in GitHub. To do this, you go to your settings, you click on developer settings, then personal access token, and you define a token that you can use in release. All right. So I have already defined my token as a global variable. So this one. Click on test. You should have a successful connection. Save. Now you are ready to start the configuration of version control. So we click on version control, configure. So on the left we choose, we configure the Git repository, the connection. So I choose my repo here. The branch I want to save in the main branch. Repository path. This is a path that will be created inside the Git repo. This is the folder. By default, this is the folder name. And the tag prefix, I will choose demo. And then you check all the entities that you want to export in the YAML file. So I will remove the variable, for example, I click save, and it's done. So by default, there is no version. So let's create a simple template. Okay, my first template, I create a new task, just for the demonstration, it's not very important. Okay, perfect, it's enough. So now I can create a new version. I can save this as version 1.0.0, create. Okay, and this template has been exported as a YAML format, so we can preview the code here. And this file has been committed in Git. So let's refresh Git. We see the folder, demo version control, and the release file, YAML file, right? So we can check the tags here. We have the demo /1.0.0, so the prefix before the version number. So now let's do a modification. Let's imagine that I change the name of my task. 2. Okay, I can create now a new version. Version 2. Alright. So it has been created automatically in Git. Of course, yeah, perfect. And then I can come back on version 1 by choosing apply this version, apply. And of course, now we come back on this new version, on this version 1.0. Alright? So what's happened when we do a modification from external tools? So let's imagine that we use Visual Studio Code. So I have already prepared my environment, do a git pull to get the latest YAML file. Let's imagine that I change new phase name, save, git add, git commit. So it's a phase name, git push, origin name. Okay, so a new version has been committed in Git. I refresh. Okay, we see the change the phase name. If we come back here to the version control, here what we see the list of the versions that are known by release. They are local ones, so we have to fetch changes to get the modification, external modification. So if we fetch changes, we see that release is not able to get the changes. Why? Because by default, it will check the demo tag. So we have to add a tag to get this version available. So let's go back here. Let's do a git tag demo, let's say version 3. Git push tag. Alright. So if we come back here and do a refresh, a new tag has been created. Okay. And this one will be visible from release. So if we click on fetch changes, we see that this version is available now. And then we can choose to apply this version, apply, and change our template, the name of the phase that we see here. Alright, so it's very easy. I would like to talk about password now, because there are you may have some error if you define a task like this. Let's say I define a Jenkins task. I'm choose Jenkins just to show you a sample with a password. So if you set a password like this, my password, right? It's not a best practice, obviously, because when you are going to export the password, it will not be exported, of course. But if now I create a new version, let's say version 4, everything will be exported and committed inside Git. And if we check the YAML file, we see this password value with a reference to a value. Okay, obviously for security reasons the password is not exported, but this reference to a value that is supported by the CLI is not supported by the version control feature. It means that you will not be able to apply this YAML file because it contains a value definition here. So if we try to, let's say we come back on version 3 here, we apply the change, okay, and then if we choose to apply version 4, we are going to have an error, apply this version, all right, because the value tag is not supported. So be aware of this, but I mean, it's not the best practice anyway to set the password directly inside the definition of task. So you can use variable to define your password. This is the end of this short video. So everything is available in our documentation. You have the GitOps enable version documentation. Okay, thanks for watching. Bye bye.